Welcome to Langage Energy Centre, part of the EP Group. I'm Mark Barrett, the Generation Manager here at Langage. It is my responsibility, along with my support team, to manage the daily operations of the plant and to ensure it operates safely and efficiently with due respect for its surroundings. Langage Energy Centre is a combined cycle gas-fired power station with a nominal output of over 900 megawatts. It is capable of delivering electricity to almost 1 million homes. Langage is one of the most advanced gas-fired power stations in the world, with emissions levels amongst the lowest of this kind of facility. This video is intended to introduce you to the unique environment you will find yourself working in, together with our expectations of you while you are working on or visiting our site. Safety is our core value here at Langage. We look out for each other, and we look after our surroundings. People are our most important asset. It is fundamental to the efficient operation of our business that we provide a safe, flexible and healthy environment for all who work here. We will engage with each other openly and honestly to ensure how we work puts safety first. At the end of this video induction, you will take part in a multi-choice questionnaire to make sure that you have taken on board the information and procedures that will help make you and your colleagues safe.
The site is divided into three specific areas. The industrial area, which includes the electrical control building, turbine hall, air-cooled condenser, water treatment building and the national grid switching yard. And the non-industrial area, where the admin building, welfare facilities, stores, workshops and visitor and contractors' grasscrete car parks are situated, and the off-site, AGI, above-ground facility, which houses the gas intake area. The admin building is located at the north of the site, close to the main gate, and contains security, the induction room, offices, first aid, stores, workshops and welfare facilities. This is referred to as the non-industrial area of the site. Access and movement is strictly controlled, and the security passes issued to you must be clearly displayed. Ensure you carry your security pass with you at all times. These passes will allow you access to your authorised areas of the site. It is mandatory that you use them when entering and exiting the site, as they monitor who is on site at any given time. This information will be vital if an incident occurs. If you use your security pass to enter the site outside working hours, contact the control room by mobile or internal site phone to inform them of your movements and work tasks on site. The use of mobile electrical devices is strictly controlled. Contractors and visitors will only be allowed to use mobile phones in the non-industrial side of the site and in designated areas on the industrial area where the green mobile phone permitted signs are displayed. These areas will be clearly signposted as mobile friendly. Without exception, mobile phone use is strictly prohibited in any other industrial areas. Smoking or the use of e-cigarettes is only permitted in the designated smoking shelter outside the store's building. All other areas are strictly no smoking. Any person suspected of being under the influence of alcohol or drugs will be refused entry to the power station. EP Langage has a zero-tolerance policy on the misuse of substances, including alcohol and drugs. Random and with-cause testing is in operation. Any person suspected of being under the influence of drink or drugs will be escorted off-site immediately, and further disciplinary action may be taken. Power generation is a potentially dangerous operation. On site, there are flammable hazards, such as gas and lubricating oil. There are other major hazards, such as steam, chemicals and electricity, which can be equally dangerous if the correct precautions are not taken. Safe systems of work are in use at Langage Energy Centre. These systems provide safety from any hazards on site, which may cause harm to personnel or damage to equipment. If you need to contact the control room, using a mobile phone, call 01752 756 001. To call the control room from an internal phone on the EP Langage system, dial 6001. In the event that you discover a fire or any other emergency, raise the alarm by activating the nearest break glass alarm point, or dial the emergency telephone number 6666 using an internal site or office phone. Do not use a mobile phone. Firefighting equipment is available for use around site. Never tackle a fire unless it is to protect your escape route and you have been trained in the use of the firefighting equipment. In the event of a fire or evacuation, you will hear this alarm. On hearing the alarm, leave your area in a safe condition and proceed to the nearest muster point. Under no circumstances must the lift be used for an emergency escape. There are 2 muster points in case of emergency. If the alarm sounds when you are in the non-industrial area, proceed to the visitors' car park muster point. If you are in an industrial area, proceed to the muster point on the grasscrete at the corner of Middle North Street and East Street. On arrival at your muster point, swipe your pass to register your presence and await further instructions. Do not leave your muster point until you are told it is safe to do so.
Please. Attention, please. The emergency is now over. The emergency is now over.
Control room, come back. Can you just confirm that everything's okay? Yeah. Alright, guys.
When the all clear has been sounded, you must swipe into the nearest access point. This will register you back on site. The emergency alarms are tested at 11 AM every Monday. During this test, no action is necessary. If you have any medical or other conditions that may affect your ability to react to the alarms or carry out work at Langage, please make this known to your host or security so that the appropriate assistance can be given. This is especially important if you have any active medical devices, such as a pacemaker or insulin pumps, as there are electrical and magnetic fields, EMFs, present on some areas of the site which may interfere with their performance. These areas are clearly marked. If you require emergency first aid assistance, call 6666 from any internal phone.
The turbine hole, and I kind of trapped my hand in the door, and it really hurts. Yeah.
If you require minor first aid, contact security if you are on the non-industrial side, or contact the control room if you are on the industrial area, which is located on the top floor of the electrical control building and is manned 24 hours a day. All accidents will be recorded using the Site Health and Safety reporting system. Here at Langage, we have a reporting system for unsafe acts or incidents, as well as proactive observations. We encourage all personnel to participate in our safety observation system by filling out the observations cards, which can be found in your HSE booklet. The completed card needs to be either posted in the red observation box or handed into the control room or to your host.
Good afternoon. Down in the turbine hall. Saw this unsafe act, so...
If you are required to work in the industrial area, you will be required to wear full PPE at all times. This includes flame retardant overalls, anti-static safety shoes with internal protective toe caps and midsoles, hard hats and eye protection. You may also be required to wear task-specific PPE based on your risk assessment. This should be provided by your employer. However, in an emergency, please ask your host and some will be arranged for you. Suitable hand protection should be worn as your task requires, or as indicated on your risk assessment, especially in areas such as the boiler, where hot surfaces are common. Certain areas of the site are designated as high noise areas. Where necessary, hearing protection must be worn when the plant is running. Any thermal or weatherproof jackets worn over coveralls must also be flame retardant. There is a PPE-free route marked by a green line linking the non-industrial site to the electrical control room and the ACC car park. Contractors or staff using the ACC car park must follow the green line if they need to use the welfare facilities. No PPE is required whilst on this line. Moving away from this line will require full PPE to be worn. Visitors on an escorted tour will be allowed to wear minimum PPE. This consists of a hard hat, safety glasses, high visibility jacket and sensible footwear. Visitors on a tour must be accompanied at all times. Security may carry out random searches on bags or vehicles entering and leaving the site. All vehicles must obey road signs and markings. The site speed limit is 10 miles per hour. Be aware of other vehicles in use around the energy centre as well as pedestrians. If you need to drive into an industrial area, you will need a pass from security and must drive with your hazard lights on or use a warning beacon. Due to the presence of overhead cables, height restriction barriers are in place around the site. Please ensure your vehicle does not exceed the 4-metre height restriction as indicated on the barriers. Care must be taken when loading or unloading equipment near to overhead cables, and safety distances must be adhered to. Due to the nature of this site, everyone is asked to be vigilant at all times. If you notice suspicious behaviour by persons on or in the vicinity of the power station, or any unusual or suspicious object or package, then report it to your host or security staff immediately.
Security, we've got something suspicious outside the East Street gate. Can you go and investigate?
It is vital that any personal belongings such as packages or work bags are kept in the designated areas or with you at all times. Failure to do this could arouse suspicion and cause the facility to be evacuated. Activities carried out at Langage Energy Centre are strictly regulated and controlled to ensure our compliance with ISO 14001 and our environmental policy. This requires authorization to be obtained which specifies a range of controls, including emission and discharge limits. Your host or contract coordinator will make you aware of your individual responsibilities for complying with the site policies and procedures. A breach of legislation or deliberate act that endangers the environment will be dealt with by EP Langage as a serious incident. Action will be taken against any offenders, resulting in possible exclusion from site or legal action. Everyone has a part to play in protecting the environment as part of their day-to-day activities, ensuring that these objectives and targets are achieved. Whether you are a visitor, staff or a contractor, your work is not complete until the work area is clean and tidy, with waste having been safely and securely disposed of in the correct bin or skip. If you're in any doubt, contact a member of staff. Here at Langage Energy Centre, we operate a number of recycling initiatives. Help us to minimise environmental impact by maximising recycling opportunities and ensuring legal requirements are fulfilled. At Langage, people are at the heart of our operation, and as such, we are committed to providing a safe and healthy working environment for all. We are committed to minimising our impact on the environment and achieving continuous improvements in environmental performance. Your safety and the safety of others is of paramount importance to us. And to ensure everyone's safety, we have safe systems of work in place for the work and the tasks you will be doing, whether it be in the industrial area or the non-industrial area of the site. Before starting work, you must first report to your contract coordinator or supervisor to discuss the work and ensure you have the correct documentation. This will normally be a work order card, which will complement your own risk assessment and method statement. You will then be required to take these documents to the control room permit office, where the senior authorising person or issuer will go through the work requirements and risk assessments. The risk assessment will identify all potential hazards which may be encountered during the planned work. This risk assessment will also identify the additional control measures required to eliminate the hazards or to reduce the risks to an acceptable level. Those working on a task must understand the control measures identified in these documents. The risk assessment will indicate any additional equipment or safety clothing to be worn, such as chemical suits, arc flash RPE, goggles or face masks.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
It is vital that you do not start work in the industrial area without the proper clothing or permission. If the work requires a safety document, it will have been identified before you arrive on site through the safety assessment process. The safe system of work allows the senior authorised person who controls the day-to-day activities of power station operations to remain totally in control of the work and ensures that the work you are doing will not cause you or anyone else harm or damage plant and equipment. The safety document will indicate the plant and equipment on which you will be working and specify the work to be done. An authorised person will have made sure that the plant and area is safe for the work detailed. They will, for example, have isolated valves or electrical supplies, depressurised pipework, tested for leaks, or taken whatever safety measures were necessary.
Okay, let's just quickly run through this. It's got its unique number up top, 725.
During the issuing of the safety document, the required paperwork will be explained to you. If you are required to carry out lone working, you'll be issued with a radio to maintain contact between yourself and the control room.
I'm a bit unsure of what I'm meant to be working on. I don't know if this one or
Before starting work, it is your responsibility to ensure you are working on the correct piece of plant or equipment. If in any doubt, ask the duty senior authorised person or your contract coordinator. Confined space entry is strictly controlled, and a method statement, risk assessment and, when required, a rescue plan must be in place prior to work commencing. A gas test will be carried out as part of the permit to work process. To enter one of the spaces, the EP Langage confined space standard must be followed, and evidence of competence is required prior to starting work. Never enter a confined space unless authorised to do so by the duty senior authorised person. Any area where a flammable atmosphere may be encountered will be clearly identified as a hazardous area. Work in these areas is strictly controlled, and access is granted to personnel or equipment by a senior authorised person. All hot work on site is strictly controlled. If any hot work is required, it must follow the EP Langage hot work procedure and process. Only designated hot work fire extinguishers should be used for this work. Scaffolding must only be erected, modified or dismantled by trained, competent people. Unauthorised interference with scaffolding will result in disciplinary action. A SCAF tag system is in operation for all scaffolding structures at Langage, ensuring that each scaffold platform is inspected prior to use and at intervals not exceeding 7 days. Scaffolding structures must also be inspected following modification or after adverse weather. Prior to starting work on scaffolding, you must ensure that a scaff tag is present and valid, that the scaffolding is fit for purpose, of sufficient size and has been maintained in good order. Contractors and visitors may only use workshop equipment if authorised by EP Langage and are trained and competent in its use. If you are ever in any doubt about what equipment you may use, or have any other concerns whilst you're working on site, seek advice from a member of the EP Langage staff. It is the responsibility of the user of any work equipment to ensure that it is being maintained in good order and that a valid certificate of test is available for inspection at any time. Handheld electrical tools for use on the industrial area must operate at voltages of 110 volts or less and clearly display an in-date PAT label. Both tools and certificates must be available for inspection by the electrical department. All portable electrical equipment must be suitably maintained. Any faulty equipment must be quarantined. Contact your contract coordinator if you require assistance. Mobile equipment and cranes are only allowed on site after the work has been safety assessed and appropriate safety document or control measures put in place. Cranes must be supervised at all times by an appointed person in line with site rules. Any work involving lifting operations must have been assessed and a lifting plan put into place if required. Work at height is strictly controlled and a method statement, risk assessment and, where required, a rescue plan must be in place before work can commence. Evidence of competence is also required prior to starting work. To prevent dropped objects when working at height, tools should be tethered and, if applicable, the grating sheeted out. A container should also be used to store items when not in use. If you require clarification, please contact your contract coordinator or a member of the HSE team. To help you go about your work safely and efficiently, your host or contract coordinator will be able to access our business management system, which contains information about work procedures, risk assessment and health and safety advice. Any substances brought onto site must be identified to staff prior to any work starting. A risk assessment, COSH assessment and material safety data sheet must be provided. All oil or chemicals must be correctly stored in bunded areas or containers. Any spillage of oil or chemicals must be reported immediately to the control room so that measures can be taken to clean it up and thereby protect the environment. Use a spill kit if one is available and if it is safe to do so. On no account should any substance enter site drains, as this will constitute an environmental breach. Waste oils and chemicals must be disposed of in drums or other tanks and taken to the appropriate facilities. Drip trays should be placed under plant as a precaution against spillage. Most waste will be of a general nature. However, with strict controls to adhere to, special skips and containers are provided for more hazardous waste. You can help us to achieve a reduction in energy and material consumption by switching off equipment and lighting when not required, and not wasting materials. When the job is finished, confirm the work has been done with your host, who will then carry out all the appropriate tests before the safety document is cleared. During an outage, welfare cabins, which will include locker rooms, ladies and gents toilet blocks, as well as showers, will be found on the Grassed Creek car park area, on the non-industrial part of the site by the main admin building. This area is the primary contractor's car park. Additional parking can be found in the ACC car park. When using the ACC car park, reverse parking is mandatory. Only site vehicles are allowed to be parked by the stores area unless they are part of activities connected to the workshops. During outages, the designated permit office will be situated on the ground floor of the ECB, and you'll be issued with a time slot during peak periods. The Construction, Design and Management (CDM) regulations will be enforced for all work undertaken on site. During a CDM notifiable project, formalised meetings will be held by Langage Energy Centre staff with representatives from all major contractors on site. These meetings will discuss all the health and safety issues which have been raised during the project and the follow-up actions. In some cases, major projects may be notifiable to the Health and Safety Executive. Throughout these projects, Langage Energy Centre staff will perform safety walks and audits to ensure the safety of all persons on site. Contractors may be invited to participate in these activities. The CDM regulations are aimed to make your working environment a safer place. With the assistance and effort of all persons on site, Langage Energy Centre can be a safe place for all persons to work.
Your safety, that of your colleagues and everybody working at Langage is subject to you following our safe systems of work and working within the specific control measures in place. We expect that in all we do, our aim is not dissimilar to anyone watching this video, that everyone goes home safely after a good job is done. If you are unsure about anything related to your health and safety or the environment, please just ask. And similarly, if you have concerns about work being done by others, we do encourage people to raise these concerns. With your assistance and effort, Langage Energy Centre will continue to be a safe place for all of us to work. Upon completion of this induction, you will be met by your EP Langage representative, who will be your primary point of contact for your time on site. Thank you for watching this induction. Have a safe visit, and remember, there is no job so important that it cannot be done safely. Good luck with the questionnaire.
During outages, the designated permit office will be situated on the ground floor of the ECB, and you will be issued with a time slot during peak periods.